evening all. Well, what a fan fest that was. And what I'm going to do in this video, and a lot of people have asked me to do this, which is kind of strange, but people have asked my opinion on some of the things that have appeared in Fanfest, so obviously quite humble to hear that. Okay, well, I'll give my opinion as best I can. If you didn't see the Fanfest presentations, go to twitch.tv/CCP. Yeah, I think it's something like that. Anyway, and you'll see all of the presentations there. Take some time out and do it, because it really is good. So let's talk about what we saw. Firstly, the suits. Here we go. This is all 4 races suits, and you know, wow, fanfare please. This is like the 3 small, medium, heavy suits, and this is the way they're going to cut up these suits now. Look at that Minmatar heavy suit. It looks crazy, but I just think this is an exceptional step forward. So start to think now already about what kind of suits you're going for. Probably myself, I think I'm going to stick with Galante Scout, but well, let's see. In terms of the guns, well, again, the individualization of each of the guns is quite important. Most importantly, things like the rifles. You're going to have different types of rifles now. The pistols will do different things. So the Minmatar one is like a rocket pistol. And look at the rifles themselves. I mean, they are actually going to operate differently as well. So Caldari will have a very different gun function to, say, Minmatar, which is really fascinating. I think that's a really lovely kind of step forward. Everybody's so used to the Galante assault rifle and what it does. It's going to take some time, I think, for people to adjust. In terms of those rifles, well, this is the ARSE Scrambler rifle, and it's an energy-based weapon, good against shields. Incredible design. Minmatar, very good at, you know, typical machine gun, I'd probably say. And I think then the rail gun for for Caldari looks, well, it looks exceptional. I guess that's going to be a longer range, a tactical rifle. There's lots of other guns coming. I mean, this slide was really quite intriguing in terms of the different guns that are maybe out there, but I just think we need to stay tuned. I think the biggest thing for me is vehicles. Look at these vehicles. So far, we're all very familiar with Galante and Caldari, but look at those Minmatar vehicles, and look at the ARSE vehicles. Incredible. Now, the Minmatar LAV interests me quite a bit. It looks like a semi-quad bike or something, but look at the tank. That looks a particularly fearsome, you know, cube of fighting, you know, craziness. And then look at the ARSE tank there as well. I think the dropships again really do, I think, pay homage to the design styles of each race as well. I think that ARSE dropship looks like a Harbinger as well, which is just amazing. So yeah, Harbinger looking kind of dropship, love it. So this is really looking good. In terms of the MCCs as well, I guess, you know, my thoughts here is this is exactly what was needed. The MCCs seem so disparate and removed from actually what the purpose of them are. So I think now we're starting to see the other 2 come in. We'll probably see more of a focus on this. It's already been mentioned that maybe EVE players will pilot the MCC at some point as well. So the severity of what these are is going to become quite important very soon. In terms of other features as well, then the RDVs are going to change. These pesky, evil RDVs are going to become racial as well. So you'll have, obviously, the Galante one is the new one there, and it looks particularly well, it looks particularly amazing. And I'm sure they'll be delivering tanks to me and dropping them in the middle of nowhere and then killing me as they run off and crash onto the planet. So, you know, props, good stuff. But I think in terms of where the stuff's going, it's looking fantastic. You're also going to have a medium assault vehicle as well. So, you know, in the keynote speech, they talk around this really bridges the LAV and the HAV, which is probably something that's quite needed. In my mind, this is maybe the Sunderer from Planetside, a heavy troop carrying vehicle that can probably withstand quite a bit of punishment, can also dish out, but this is a true APC. Okay, so this is going to be, I think, exceptional. And you see here the Caldari and the Galante ones. Still not, you know, seen too much about laser turrets or anything like that, so hopefully they don't get missed, but I think they're going to be, I can't wait to see how laser turrets are going to operate. And then probably most importantly, people really were interested in this one with fighters. Now, fighters are something very familiar to EVE players. Fighters are pretty much key to carrier and carrier capital warfare. So with having fighters on the planet, I kind of hope that there'd be maybe a hash of them. Things like the Firbolg and the Templar, very, very typical kind of fighters, but they're space fighters. These are going to be orbital fighters, so they have to have aerodynamics and so on. And look at them, they just look so cool. I can see a lot of players are going to rush into them, even if they're crap. People would just say, you know, take my skill points and just rush at them, which is fair enough, to be honest. I think if people are interested in fighters, then you know that's going to be a fascinating gameplay. Don't think the maps are big enough yet though. In terms of then the final thing, now I am going to claim a bit of credit here. The space bike, my jet bike. I have my jet bike, and this is a floating jet bike. Oh my god. Now, the only thing it's missing is a lance. CCP, come on, give me a lance. Give me a power cattle prod energized lance that I can basically joust fools off their steeds as I as I whiz by in my anti-gravity jet bike. Absolutely fantastic. Love the idea of this. I think the gameplay that will come with these things as well. Imagine me in my scout uniform. Scout uniform? That sounds a bit dodgy. My scout suit, loaded up with you know, a particularly good laser rifle, or you know, a good AR of some kind, or even a sniper rifle, using one of these bad boys to go completely to the other side of the map and then snipe back. You know, almost kind of sniping across the flanks of these soldiers. That's going to be an exceptional vehicle. So I'm just over the moon that I get my jet bikes. I did a little squee of joy when I heard that they were coming, and then I realized I shouldn't have done that, but there is just something so cool about, again, I guess the minds of CCP are all attuned to their players, and that's pretty evident with a lot of what we see here. They really do listen to people. I'm not saying they listen to me with a jet bike, but I think they've listened to a lot of people saying it would be good to have an individual solo transport that's probably quite quick, and they've given you an anti-gravity jet bike. Oh my god, I just can't wait to drive it into a wall or have the RDV drop it off the map. So, next bit to talk about is drones. We're going to see NPCs appearing in Dust. So this will be something that we have to start fighting against. Now, again, not sure how this is going to work, but this could be something linked to districts, or it could be just some form of player co-op mission where you have, and I think the statement was, you'll either be fighting off waves of these, or you'll be doing search and destroy to find them. So the previous one was a light drone, and this one is a medium drone, and they have different levels of armament. So I guess this one is going to be pretty much a kind of small vehicle kind of thing, who's going to roll around, maybe a big heavy, who's just going to waste, you know, kind of no time probably splatting people as they get too close. And I think the final one as well, which is your large drone, is probably a mobile death, you know, nightmare of doom from the dark parts of space, because this thing's going to have forged guns. It's going to have the capability just to annihilate people. So, you know, don't even bother screaming medic if this thing hits you, because it's just going to blow your body to bits. And I just love it. I think this is what was needed. Rogue drones have always been something in EVE that's been a relative threat, but to actually fill them on the planet kind of with their you know, oily scaly tendrils wrapping around your throat, love it. I love this as well. There's a drone hive. It's almost some form of replication stroke teleporter technology, which will actually go kind of woo and chunk, and actually a rogue drone will emerge from this this nightmarish nest. And I love this. I think it's going to be again just something that I mean, can you imagine playing Dust where you're not shooting like other humans, you're actually having to hunt down some form of, you know, devious AI. I mean, you know, even if they're not the smartest things in the world, rogue drones are, as they say, they are AI drones, or they're drones that have formed some form of habitual AI, and they do act as insects. They have a hive, they have a queen, they have a patriarch, whatever you want to call it, and they basically, you know, act as a swarm, a true swarm. So having these things in the game, oh, it's going to be epic. If you have, imagine a dropship and a tank taking on a swarm of these things, and then they'll swarm you, they'll start blapping you. Oh, it's going to be incredible. Can't wait. And then these, just I love this little picture here that they showed. This was around how perhaps the mechanic will work. I don't know if they're actually instigating that this thing would teleport in or warp in to the thing, or whether or not this would actually be some form of replication technology. Who knows? But again, love the concept of it, and opening up that kind of gameplay concept. This could be something again that really opens up a number of different types of gameplay. They've already suggested that you could have, say, a small room where you've got one of these, and then as every wave comes, it'll just be progressively harder and harder. So think Warhammer 40k, that kind of thing, where it's just every so often And if you have a squad of logistics and heavies and so on, you can work as a team and try and res and keep each other going. Now that would be amazing, because that would really push squad play if there's just waves of things, almost like a tower desktop defense kind of thing. It sounds shit, don't get me wrong, but I guarantee you it would foster game squad play and teach people squad play better than anything else. And also just the idea that you could have a range of these across a big map where you have to use dropships and tanks and LOVs to scout and find them and take them out before they overwhelm the district. Amazing. So, environments. Now this is also looking quite good. We're going to have space mushroom trees, which again is lovely, isn't it? I think, you know, a lot of the time we do kind of forget that these alien worlds are totally, you know, slightly different gravity, probably different mixture of atmospheres, whatever it may be, but they will have evolved differently. And so therefore this brings the fact that this is sci-fi. This the heart of everything is sci-fi, and it's really good sci-fi. Let's not forget that. Other environments here that were shown, just the different types of architectures, certainly the different, I guess, levels. You could have some form of mining operation, a PI mining operation perhaps. You could have some form of administration building, a mining institute, maybe doing deep core mining. Maybe it could be something along the lines of you know, a city, a lost city, a barren city that's been destroyed. Again, something from the origins of Eve. Remember, a lot of these planets have had people living on them and died tens of thousands of years ago. So that feeling of lost technology, lost architecture is wonderful. It really is. Also something around the progression of the modern as well, having, you know, this road network. I mean, who would have ever thought you'd have road networks on these planets? But of course you would, because again, the empires are very adept at building. That's really what they have done. They struggled from, you know, the long dark night to come into a world where the ability to build and build up has been the reason why they are the top 4 alliances in the universe, to be honest. And then finally we get to something in terms of the environments, which is obviously snow environments, etc. But the bottom right one, when he said what he said, just made me go squee again, which was you could be fighting on a Titan. And I even mentioned that ages ago in one of my videos as a absolute, oh god, wouldn't it be amazing if. Now imagine we could do some form of boarding party. Imagine if you had, you know, I think he called it penetration gaming, which was brilliant, because imagine if you could instigate attacks, captures, or even just sabotage of building Titans, active Titans, disabled Titans. Again, why do we always have to destroy Titans when they're destroyed? Something the size of a Titan wouldn't be blown to pieces and disappear. It would be literally knocked out and everybody on board probably killed, but before the actual superstructure would give. So why can't it be that when a Titan's killed, then for the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, a whole dust event could happen on that Titan to try and capture it back for an alliance and then sell it to an Eve alliance? Imagine that. Imagine the proper mercenary tag really being used, not being controlled by the Eve pilots, but actually being almost holding them to hostage of, we've captured your Titan and we're going to hold it hostage, unless, you know, people will then say, come at me with your mercenaries, but if I hold this Titan, it's mine and I'll sell it to the highest bidder. That's what being a mercenary surely is all about. And I just think if that came into the game, my god, I'd just pour my money over this thing because it's amazing. And then finally, this was one that I think I really liked, you know, just from a point of view of what this could mean for the game, is vertical gaming, zero gravity gaming. A few things like Shattered Horizons, I think it was, tried to do zero grav gaming, and it wasn't bad, but I think Dust and I think CCP with their capability and their vision would do it a lot better, and I think they'd do it quite well. This is something I've always thought should be fighting over at the moment, is POS structures, the POS towers. We should be able to maybe go and actually assault the POS towers. So if somebody reinforces a POS tower in Eve, maybe that then begins a Dust battle, a mercenary battle, where we can then go into that POS tower and either help defend it and get the shields back up to a higher level than they were, or we go in there to absolutely knock it down and destroy it, you know, and then cripple it, ready for then the Eve fleet to finish it off. That's the link again that I think is maybe not quite here yet, but I sure hope that CCP are doing this, because that's the kind of link again that I think is, I'm sure, possible. But wow, that would be again just absolutely unprecedented in terms of what the game's trying to do. This was an interesting one, and this is the last slide, certainly for today. And this was around the MC, I can't remember what they called this, the MCU, I think it was. This was your basically your ultimate tower command center, so your district command center. And this, ironically, is also the base of your orbital elevator. So this is where you would effectively then bridge from Eve into Dust and vice versa without using rocketry. It would just be an orbital elevator. Very 3001, or was it 2061? I think it was. Anyway, so very, very Arthur C. Clarke in terms of its scope, and I think this is going to be something that again really defines what it is. And again, hopefully you can hear the enthusiasm in my voice. This has been an epic fan fest for Dust. I think there is no better time to be playing Dust. If you don't have a PS3 and if you're not playing Dust, you're missing out. Go buy one and come join the fun, because this is amazing stuff. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.